Stuck is probably the right word for where the Nifty stands after today's session. Let's figure that out. Good evening, traders. 8:34 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 10th of November 2021, Wednesday evening. And we had an interesting session. Yesterday, we were talking about an expected breakout above 18,100, which could trigger us towards 150 and further up and all that. Well, nothing of that sort happened today at the open. It was a pretty weakish opening, 120 points negative throughout most of the couple of morning sessions, and it looked pretty weak. It looked pretty weak towards the time it was around 11:30, but then we had one big bounce back, one single 75-minute time frame, which took the index from 17,955 all the way towards very close to 18,100. Slipped towards the later half, closed around a little above that 18,000 mark. Not bad considering almost three and a half hours of trade with minus 100 points. The bounce back was impressive. This is the 75-minute time frame, and we are stuck. I can see very clearly that the VWAP levels have been working really well on the upside, acting as resistances. On the downside, we have a point of control from the volume profile of this move from this low to the current bar, and this range these days, majority of the volumes have definitely happened 17,950 and higher to that, nothing below this. So if we have a breakdown, the fall can be fairly sharp. Let's see, but 18,100 as the immediate trigger on the upside continues to stay as the trigger, and I think that we should work with today's low, which is 17,925. We have not yet closed below the 18k mark. It's 18,022 at today's close. So yes, a slip below today's low will definitely infuse fresh selling pressure, and in that case 650, 750 and further levels on the downside will open up. We've been asking to stay cautiously bullish and stock selective specific movements. I think that is what the markets are playing out. That's the theme of the market right now. Not much interest in index, but very stock specific movement. We'll take a look at it. But Nifty View, stay cautiously bullish, not bearish yet. We don't want to get stuck in these kind of sharp bounce backs. In case we get a move above 18,100 tomorrow, it'll be interesting to see how well it sustains and whether it extends further or not, because market's full of surprises, at least from a very short-term perspective. So stay unbiased and look for momentum breakouts on the upside. Bank Nifty was relatively weaker. We've got some serious damage coming in from this particular index, which was quite disappointing because the hope was that it will be the Bank Nifty which will lead the index for an upside breakout. That's not coming up for sure anytime soon. Today's close was quite disappointing, 424 points down, 1% negative. It was a big underperformer, especially the PSU banks being the biggest sectoral loser in today's trade. A 75-minute time frame, look at the Bank Nifty and we can clearly see that this is the VWAP which has been holding the sell-offs, and now this is the one that can hold this index. In a short-term momentum indicators oversold, Heiken Ashi is slowing down, signs of consolidation, clear downtrend. Don't get too excited. I don't think so that Bank Nifty is going to support. The only hope was a breakout above this level, but looking at today's close, I don't think that's coming up anytime soon. Sectors which held up: auto, M&M was doing pretty good over the last three sessions. Consumer durables, pharmaceutical, Sun Pharma from the very start was positive. But I think one particular stock which did exceptionally well from the very beginning to the very close of the day is Bharti Airtel. Let's take a look at that stock. We've been talking about this counter for quite some time now. We've been waiting for that breakout. We'd marked this and today it delivered really nice. Good close near the highest point of the day. Previous swing highs close to that 749 psychological 750 level is very likely on the cards. Reliance is one more counter we spoke about for the last two sessions. It did support in the afternoon. The movement that was needed from Reliance to support the index was delivered, and it held pretty well. It's on the verge of a short-term reversal on the upside, and 2600 is the VWAP, a resistance which confluences with previous lows. So one can expect, if the market holds well, Reliance to continue to support towards 2600. But most of the top stocks in today's trade was negative. Big disappointment came in from ICICI Bank. Looking at the range contraction that I had yesterday, I was hopeful that the stock would deliver, but interestingly, the stock has now started to open up into some kind of a short-term positive divergence. So who knows, when you expect, the markets don't deliver, and when you don't expect, the markets have a very uncanny habit of delivering. Then a move above today's high for ICICI Bank can be a surprise element, but the Bank Nifty doesn't look so good, so I'm not that hopeful. Maybe stock specific. Let's quickly go to Iris screen and do a quick scan of the Nifty 200 stocks. The InstaView scans that I run. Let's quickly check if something looks impressive for tomorrow. Only one inside bar, which is Larsen. I wouldn't chase a stock which had a beautiful rally in the recent 7 to 8 sessions. RSI is definitely quite stretched on the upside. RSI 3 at 93 doesn't make sense to chase. We don't have a divergence, do we? No. So I would not like to short this either. Quite a few stocks which satisfies the Harami pattern. Tata Power looks like one relatively outperformer. Let's see if we have some better candidates. Siemens, definitely no, it's a range expansion for the stock. We have Tata Chemicals. This looks interesting because the stock is in a series of lower highs, lower lows. It's a downtrend. The uptrend is quite shallow, just 3 days, and now nice inside bar, which is taken the shape of a bearish Harami pattern. The range has contracted for over quite a few days now, so can be an intraday play tomorrow. AB Capital, no. Coforge, no. Trend doesn't look so good. It's kind of consolidating. I would like to go with stocks which are showing signs of weakness. We did see that in Tata Chemical, and if the stock is showing some strength, then rather go with the help of divergence, or else wouldn't be a good idea. Most of the Harami pattern are today shaping up as bearish. This one is a bullish Harami pattern, Sanofi, but see, there's no trend in it. Doesn't make sense. I'll rather take a look at what's breaking out or what can break out. Maruti gives a 5-day correction and probably will find some support, not a breakout candidate. DLF can be one interesting. We can take a look at that. ISEC I was talking about yesterday as well, consolidating. Range continues to contract, so this is one counter that we can look for. Trend, if you take a look at this gap up day post its earnings, it was high of around 1132, today high of 1133.9, and yesterday 1133. So 33.32 is a breakout level for Trend on the upside. I call this bar a decoy bar, which essentially a high break above this high will very likely see some buying in better. So Trend is definitely a breakout candidate for tomorrow's session if we get a move above today's high. Amongst the intraday bounce back candidates, Castrol looks interesting. Castrol looks interesting because we have two successive inside bars. It's like it's taken a shape like a pennant. Trend is not very supportive, completely range bound, close to supports. A move above today's high 139.85, 140, and we can get a short-term bounce back. And then we have JSW Energy, which looks quite interesting. It is an inside bar, and 4.963. Yes, it has a little bit of positive divergence down here with short-term momentum indicators. So this can play out from an intraday long perspective. Oracle long, we have kind of Interested to look at Castrol and JSW Energy. On the short side, I would like to go with those counters which have kind of shown a little bit of weakness. None of these counters have shown. Coforge is one which has given a short-term correction and a bounce back, but very relatively stronger stock. You can take a look at MRF, not very liquid at all, very high price stocks, but low of 78,000 is holding for 2 consecutive sessions. So that one can be, but the liquidity can be an issue. So I'll shy away from looking at any of these intraday Oracle short candidates, but overall it seems like what we have noticed in the markets over the last few sessions, in fact this week, very clearly that the market has given more momentum to small and mid cap stocks, and I think that's likely to continue. For the Nifty, the trigger for any kind of positivity is a move above 18,100. So let's see what the market surprises us with what in tomorrow's session. I hope you've been trading cautiously. These are not the best of times to make money, but to preserve. Till then, trade well, trade wise.